Hello, I'm Tolu. Today I wanted to talk about shadow work. Shadow work was something that I was afraid of. It was probably to do with the word shadow in it. It sounded dark and ominous. And I pushed it away. I didn't want to learn anything about it because I thought it was, it sounded like a dark force that I didn't want to um, interact in my life. But I kept hearing people talk, practitioners that I appreciate and respect. I kept hearing them talk about shadow work, and how beneficial it is. So I decided to research it maybe 9 months ago. And I came upon a video that I will post in the information section down below as soon as I figure out how to do that. I will post his video, and it was shadow work for beginners. He talks that this video is all you need. You could be more elaborate with your shadow work. Shadow work is about going back into time, a time in your childhood, and healing a wound that you experienced as a child or a younger person, or a younger person than you are today, and going back and having essentially a conversation with that younger self of yours, to in hopes to heal that wound. And what I like to do is choose an enjoyable environment. It could be something as simple as my own bedroom, a quiet place, or out here in this beautiful desert, Arizona desert. We're looking at the Superstition mountain range. It's one of my favorite mountain ranges of Arizona. It's gorgeous. It has folklore and tales of lost gold in the mountain, and so there's constant interest of hunting down that gold, and I hope one day somebody finds it. But you'll have to look into that sometime and visit us out here in Arizona. But the shadow work is about, like I said, going back in time through just a mental visioning process and an internal conversation. And you're having a conversation with that younger self of yours that endured or experienced a certain trauma that is carrying forward with you in your life today and still impacts you in certain ways. Typically could be about lack of love. It could be lack of attention, abandonment, being bullied, any of those kind of things strike me as kind of typical things that some kids can go through as they're growing up. So when I decided to look into the shadow work and realize, oh, okay, it's really not ominous. It's kind of right in vein with the things that I like to do is internalizing, looking deep inside myself and looking for solutions that I don't need help from anybody else. I have all the power inside myself to heal myself. So this is what this shadow work is all about, is healing your inner injured self that is still causing problems for you today. If you have trauma from past years that does not cause you pain, you don't need to do the shadow work on those elements. This is ones that are still causing you problems. So the video that I found is shadow work for beginners, and I will post the link as soon as I figure out how to do that, somewhere down in the information section of this video. It's the only video that I've ever needed to understand. The person that did the video is in alignment to how I like to learn. Very simplistic, very simple, easy to follow. And he talks about that in the video, right? You can have more complicated shadow work techniques, but it is not needed. So the techniques that you'll see in the video that I link below, in order to heal my childhood and younger year traumas. So essentially, the process is, when you find a trauma, a childhood trauma that's still impacting you today, let's just say bullying. Bullying is a common childhood situation, and sometimes, depending on the sensitivity of the child you were or somebody else was, right? Sometimes people can easily get over bullying, and sometimes people can't. So what we would do in the case of bullying and shadow work is you would go back to the youngest years that you can recall being bullied. And let's just say, for this conversation, let's just say it's 5 years old for me. Okay, I remember being bullied by somebody at school, in kindergarten, and it never left me. It left me deeply wounded and carries forward through today's life. It still impacts me today, right? This is hypothetical, but it is actually probably pretty accurate. So you would then find yourself, the time that you were first bullied, or around the age that you were first bullied. And so my scenario is when I was 5 years old, bullied by schoolmates, and it really internally hurt me. Like, why would somebody not want to be my friend? I just want to be friends with everyone. I love everyone type of mentality. So you sit in your meditative state in a quiet place, so you can do some visualization for probably about 5 or 10 minutes, and that's all it takes. And you're going to close your eyes and visualize your adult self, who you are today, going back in time to visit your younger self. In my case, my 5-year-old self. So I visualize my 5-year-old self. In this case, I'm going to visualize I'm walking into a room, and I'm going to visualize my younger self, my little 5-year-old self in that room, probably in a hurt state, right? Because the event just occurred. And I'm going to walk into the room, and there's going to be 2 chairs. And the 2 chairs are facing one another. When the 2 parties sit down, they will be facing one another. They're probably about 3 feet apart, just to give you more details around your visualization to make it feel more realistic. And then you're going to sit in one of those chairs, and then you're going to look over at your younger self, and you're going to speak to your younger self and say, "Hello, Teresa. Can you come sit by me? I want to have a conversation with you. And there is this lovely seat here that I would love for you to join me, and we can talk." So then you would visualize your younger self walking, and your younger self would come and sit down. You would visualize that, and you would greet your younger self. You would talk to them in a loving manner. This is not a time for you to course correct and give some stern advice and toughen up your younger self. This is a time to actually give your younger self the love and the support and the hugs that your younger self actually needed at that time. In this case, the full scenario would have been, I was bullied at school by a handful of my peers in kindergarten, and all I wanted to do was be their friend. So it was very hurtful to me. I came home, shared my experience with my mom, is very a tough kind of cowgirl kind of person, and she did what she knows how to do back then, is be tough. Hey, Teresa, just be tough. Don't worry about what other people think. Just blow it off and go about your day. Don't worry about them, right? That didn't take away my hurt feelings and the trauma that I experienced. So I'm going to give my younger self what I actually needed in that situation. And I know what I needed in that situation because I'm myself, right? I don't necessarily know what Jenny needed in her situation or Robert needed in his situation, but I know what I needed in my situation now that I'm an adult and thoughtful and can think back about times. And I can often say, oh, I really would have loved this to have been said to me, or this to have been done for me, or this not to have been done to me, or whatever, or not to have been said to me, right? So I know internally what I like and what helps me out. So this is going to be easy for you. So you'll go back, you'll have a conversation, and you'll ask yourself, that little person, I understand you had a bad day today, Teresa. Is that correct? And you're going to visualize your younger self speaking to you and telling you all about it. You want to ask your younger self to tell you about the situation. And you're going to visualize and let your younger self tell you about what had happened that caused a particular trauma. And then you're going to ask your younger self, how did that make you feel? And you're going to let your younger self explain to you how you felt as a 5-year-old that was just bullied and your mom didn't really listen to you or give you really affirmation and hugs and love type of situation in my case. So you're going to listen to the younger self explain to you how hurt you were at that age. And then you as the adult self talking to your younger self are only going to fill your younger self with love and hugs and appreciation, words of encouragement, words of, I understand you were hurt in that situation. You are so loved, Teresa. Sometimes people, even kids, do things that they really don't understand that is going to be hurtful. And we really can't control a lot of people and how they behave. But Teresa, I want to let you know you are so loved. You are so appreciated. You're a smart person. You're going to have a wonderful life. And can I hug you? And then you're going to visualize your younger self saying yes. And you're going to get up, visualize yourself getting up and hugging your younger self and just holding your younger self and telling them, that younger self of you, how much you love them and appreciate them and that it will be okay. And then you could even wipe little person's tears from their eyes, right? And then when that is over, and that's probably about a 5-minute process. I mean, if you're really creative and you like the exercise, you can stretch it out as long as you want, right? But 5 minutes, couple minutes to do this exercise is perfect. And so when you're done with that exercise and made your little self feel better, you didn't solve their bullying situation, but you gave them the love that they needed, the caring that they needed at that moment. You're going to thank them for their time, and then you're going to tell them that it's okay to go off and play now. And then you will come out of your meditation with a sense of appreciation. Just mentally confirm that you appreciate this activity that you've gone through, and that's it. That is literally the elixir of solving most of your childhood traumas that have been inflicted upon you. And I am even talking about some serious traumas that we have gone through. I mean, I gave you a bullying situation, which is traumatic. But I could have given you a lot a lot deeper traumatic situation that I've gone through, but I didn't need to share that information with you. Anyhow, it's as simple as that. And then it's done. Somehow, some magical way, the trauma that has been holding you down because of that bullying issue, somehow, some way, it starts to go away in your life. It no longer impacts you. You have now integrated that situation into your life, and you've accepted it, and you've provided the love that it needed. And yes, it's always there. When you think back about it, I almost will 100% guarantee you that when you go back to think about being bullied, I am fairly confident that it will not have the same hurtful impact to you as an adult now, right? That you had 2 days prior to doing this shadow work. You will feel a sense of relief, and the trauma just kind of, it's there, it happened, you can't do anything about that, but it's no longer a bothersome issue for you. So that's the cool part of shadow work that I have found. And what I do also, because I don't necessarily sit around thinking about all my traumas that could have impacted me, but if I'm doodling, if I'm, I don't know, on a car ride, if I'm at work or something, and it pops in my head, oh, this happened to me as a child, or this happened to me as a teenager, this happened to me as a 20-year-old type of thing, I will say, I know I'm not going to remember that, so I will write a note to myself. Maybe I'll even text myself to remember, oh, this is a trauma that I want to go back and heal with the shadow work. So that's how I kind of tackle those things that I want to fix just as time goes by. I have been doing this about 9 months, probably not even 9 months, and I cannot tell you how miraculous this man's teaching of the shadow work and how simple it is to apply to your own life, how impactful it has been to my life in such a positive, beautiful way. So I want to encourage you to check it out. See if you like it. I think you will like it. I would love to encourage you to check out the video that I will have posted below, and I would encourage you to put it to practice. It's an easy video to follow, and I believe you will have lasting, beneficial, positive impacts to your life moving forward. Thank you so much for your time. Peace, love, and happiness. Take care.